Hey everyone, it is December now, I think, when this is going to be uploaded. But this is the holiday season, and we probably, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, you have had your Thanksgiving dinner, and depending upon your family or traditions or whatever, you might have had a situation where what are we thankful for like last year or whatever. And a lot of times people are thankful. I'm thankful for my family, and thankful for pets, I'm thankful for, whatever. The pretty standard stuff. But I was thinking about this, and I was trying to think of um, games that I'm thankful for. And it's kind of a weird thing, but I just want to go through kind of a few of the games that I'm thankful for and the reasons for them. And also, like if you are like thankful for a game, I'd love to hear about the game and why you're thankful for it, and put that in the old comments below. And before I dive in, please hit the old subscribe, like, and whatever button, depending upon if you're watching this on the Gray Fox Games YouTube channel or the Undead Vikings YouTube channel. Go do the same thing for both. I'd appreciate it very much. And anybody who comments or anything like that, I will respond. I do read every single one, and I do try to respond, and I will respond to every single one of these. So games I'm thankful for. So my first one that I'm going to talk about is Axis and Allies. Now, this is kind of an older game, obviously, and right now I know Renegade Games is working really hard at publishing reprints of those. Much to my chagrin, my in shrink copy of like the 50th anniversary or whatever copy of Axis and Allies, which I still own, which I really should just open and play at this point. I mean, I at one point I think somebody was offering me, several $100s for it, but I mean, at this point that's long since gone. And I should just crack that open and play it at some point. But the reason why Axis and Allies reaches my games I'm thankful for list here is that it was a game that I remember as a kid flipping through, and this is, yeah, showing my age here. Flipping through I think it was the J.C. Penney's catalog. It might have been the Sears catalog. I don't know. And I saw it sitting there, and it was like, and I've been playing Risk a lot at that time, but I remember I saw that board game, and I was like, "Holy cow! This is gonna be like Risk, but it's gonna be World War II, and it's gonna have little tanks and little men and little ships and stuff." And I guess like the toy factor of it was really high, and I was super excited to own that and play it. And this is before you could like find 37 videos about how those games are played or anything like that. So I had no idea how the game was played, no clue whatsoever. But I remember I got it, and I remember when I got it, like there was me and a few of my other friends who were like super excited about it as well. And they actually got copies as well. And I remember being very pleased with, like, I mean, for its time it was actually really really well done as far as like the storage. Like they had little styrofoam trays for each country nation that you played, and so you had a place to put all of your different figures and whatever. And so I mean, like, for its time, like I said, it was really really well done. uh, and I remember playing it with my buddies a lot. And I remember like even like the process of setting up the board, of putting all of the units out and having everything set up with the little tiny poker chips that you put the things on. I really enjoyable. And I mean, games definitely lasted a long time. I remember there was this low coffee table in my parents' family room, where me and uh, my buddy Darren, we would say, okay, we're going to play Axis and Allies, and we're going to finish it. We always said that we're going to play it to the very end. We're not going to quit early or anything like that. And after setting it up and after playing, two or three rounds of it, you realize that like several hours had gone by, and uh, inevitably we'd say, okay, we're going to leave it set up, and then we're gonna play it again at some point. And then, like, because we were kids, your interest in it kind of faded, and you went to go do something else. And I remember it would stay on that big, because the coffee table was it was the perfect size. It was like a perfect rectangle, and the board would fit on it perfectly. And it would sit there 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 until my mother either would take the whole works and throw it back in the box, or she would tell me I had to take the whole works and put it back in the box. And but we would but I remember playing it. I remember, and it's one of those games that was like it had more grit to it than the stuff that I was normally playing at that time. Like I mean, like I think that and a game like Survive was a game that I got that wasn't your standard roll and move fare that was uh prevalent as far as board games go. And like that led to me to get into like Hero Quest and Talisman and all those things that eventually like led me into being a board gamer. So I credit Axis and Allies with being one of the progenitors of the stuff that I've enjoyed. So that's fine. Number two, it's gonna be a little bit of a cheat here, because it's technically not like a board game. I'm just gonna say poker, and not because, and one because of the sheer amount of fun I've had playing poker over the course of my life, but mostly what it is that I remember as a kid, my dad I've talked about this, but my dad had this giant um Folgers can. And I still have that same can. But he would put pennies into it. And I remember one day I asked him what all these pennies were for. Because I mean, for me, like this big Folgers can full of pennies was just like $1 million, it being like 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever age I was when this happened. And he said that he used it when he played poker. And I was like, well, what's poker? And this is, my parents were divorced, and I was spending a weekend with my dad. And he sat me down. He's like, I'll teach you. And like he gave me a pile of he grabbed, like I remember he reached in and grabbed like a handful of pennies. He didn't really, and he dropped some in front of him and some in front of me, and he taught me how to play 5 card draw poker. And I remember, I'll always remember just sitting at his kitchen table and playing that with him and learning, and like thinking that if all of my cards were red, I had a flush. I still remember that. And he was like, no, 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 that isn't a flush. You have diamonds and hearts in there. But yeah, I mean, so it was just kind of a memory, and I remember having my dad teach me that, and having that moment or whatever, and then like playing it since then. And like now, after I played poker, he would come over, and a couple of times when I'd have a birthday party, like when I have a bunch of people at my house because I was celebrating my birthday, we would sit down and play poker, and he would join in, and then he would lose all of his money because frankly, I mean, my dad, he didn't play it as religiously as we did, and so he would just go outside and he'd grill up the steaks or whatever they were eating, which was nice of him to do. But some great memories, both with my friends. When I got married, my brother lives in Las Vegas, so for my bachelor party, we flew to Las Vegas, and I remember sitting up all night playing low stakes poker. The one night when I was there, just like all kinds of stuff like that. Just having a blast and enjoying ourselves. So there are a lot of memories tied into poker, a lot of funny stories between my friends and family, and a lot of enjoyable stuff. So that's what I'm thankful for as well. I am thankful for, I mean, again, not really a board game, and I apologize for that, but Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is a game that I was introduced to by my older brother. I've told the story many times, so I'm not going to bother you with that one. But D&D has been a staple part of my life, with very brief episodes of non-playing, like maybe a year or two in there, like when people had moved away from college and we didn't have a group. But it has been a staple. It has been something that I've been playing since I was in grade school. I started playing in 1977, I believe. My brother introduced me to it. I was 6 or 7 years old at the time. And I've been playing it ever since. Whether I was been playing it, if I've been running the games, and also other RPGs as well. But D&D was obviously the one that got most of us started. And I still, to this day, I'm extremely, extremely, extremely fortunate that the table you can kind of see behind me, with that is a table that every other week, me and guys that I have known for decades, sit at that table and we play D&D. And we even talk about the fact that for us, it is, it's a Saturday evening. It's 5 or 6 hours where we can get together and kind of recharge our batteries and we've discussed how we need it. Yeah, we enjoy playing D&D. We enjoy the actual game we're playing, but as far as people, as far as humans, as far as like men in our 50s, we we need it, right? And it's something that it is food, it is laughs, it is brotherhood, it is something that fills a part of my heart and a part of my soul that I can't get anywhere else. And so, and I'm getting weirdly misty here, but it's something that I'm extremely fortunate that I have, and I have to remind myself of that all the time. I mean, like when we can't schedule a game because of other things happening, like I get annoyed, I get frustrated over it, like to an unreasonable amount of frustration over it. So just leaving that there, and it's just I like I said, it's again, there's a theme here. These things are tying into my personal feelings, my personal whatever, or whatever. All right, so I'm gonna fourth thing, and I'm going to bring it back to an actual board game in this situation, and that is going to be and admittedly, okay, I should say as a what's the word I'm looking for here? As an addendum, honorable mention, whatever. Like everything that I've worked on with Gray Fox Games is something that I'm thankful for. I am thankful that I've had a hand in the creation of many games as far as like play testing and development and like just the logistics and the products and everything like that, where I've had a hand in those things, the creation of those things. I'm very proud of them. So but none of that really, because I didn't want this to be a commercial for Gray Fox. But like if I had to pick something, like I'm really really proud of Last Light. I'm really proud of Plans of Midgard and Reavers, the card game, which I mean are two fantastic games that hit those niche of negotiation games or draft and write or like blank and write games. I mean, just hit perfectly in those things for me. And again, yeah, it's kind of turning into a bit. Check those games out. Those are really great. Bazaars of Ubar, another game that I think as far as like a one that I play with my kids and my family that is kind of like low key and chill, but also has some good engine building possibilities. Really, really enjoyable game. So just stuff out there that that I've had a direct hand in the creation of, which I'm very proud of. But all that being said, the final game is going to be Yokohama, which recently had a reprint done. I forget the name of the company. I apologize. But it was originally printed by Tasty Minstrel Games, and it was the very, very first project that I ever worked on, that I ever had a hand in a board game being published on a massive scale. Now, Yokohama was made by the designer, and it was made on a smaller scale by their publishing company. But Tasty Minstrel Games, I got to travel in the very first month that I worked for Tasty Minstrel. I got to fly to Japan to go to Tokyo Game Fair, and myself and Michael Mendez, the CEO of Tasty Minstrel Games, we played it and with the designer, and we both fell in love with the game. Absolutely fell in love with it. And I remember Michael saying, "This is your first thing you need to work on. I want to launch a Kickstarter for this game in the next month." Like we literally signed the game, and he's like, "Let's launch it in a month from now." And yeah, I mean, we launched it, and we were very proud of that game, and I still am. It's still a game that is a marvelous like situation of like it's got so many different aspects of like I'm not going to go into do a review of it or anything like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have one. You can find it on my channel, but um it's a really really good game, and and even if it wasn't, it was a game that taught me so many aspects of the process of bringing a game into reality, like running a crowdfunding project, running the production of it, handling logistics, handling like everything that goes in hand into making the game. The nuts and bolts, the how the sausage is made thing. And that was the first one I ever did that I was like, I really like this, and I think I can actually do this. And so, without it, I mean, there would have been another game, right? I mean, if we had me Yokohama, it would have been something else. But without that one, there never would have been more. And so, in something, as Spock famously said, to everything, there is a first time. And that was the first one. And so I'm thankful that it exists, and I'm thankful that I got to be a part of it. So there you go. Some games that I'm thankful for. I hope you made it through the whole thing. Like I said, if you can hit the like, the subscribe, the whole 9 yards or whatever the process that you do, go ahead and do that. And be sure to comment. Tell me what game or games that you are thankful for, so I can read those and see and get an idea of what you like, and I'll respond to every single one I get. So take care of yourself, be the best version of you that you possibly can be. And until next time, just have a great day. All right.